Good evening, guys. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Dr. Sveta Silverman. I'll tell you my story while we're doing this lecture. Today, I am very nervous because I am embarking on something that I think is critically important for our health. And that everything we do starts with our health. So I don't know whether you see this red thing here. So this is in my office. So it's not my work office. This is my home office. That's what I do for a living. I diagnose diseases, and by and large, I diagnose cancers. So, and then what I do, I sell Proactive. We need to take charge of our lives in every which way. Being a medical doctor and being in LifeVantage for 5.5 years, I thrive to learn more and more and more. I absolutely love the products we have. But as a medical doctor, it's my responsibility to dig. So sorry for interruption. People are asking for my Zoom number. It is my duty to dig into science and every nuances for what we do. So, and my excitement with LifeVantage again and again and again is in what we have with the products. So sorry, just typing the Zoom. Okay, got it. But what is the science that we represent? So, so now let me share something where this excitement coming from. All the time I do literature searches. So, and I do literature searches not on Google. I do literature search on PubMed.gov. I do literature searches on the University of Alberta website. So my latest search was into NRF2 reviews, not even in 2018, but in 2019. There were 2 worldwide conferences on NRF2 protein complex, only 2 in the world. The first one was in 2015 in Cambridge, England, Harry Potter's country. And the second one was in Madrid, Spain in April 2018. I have attended both of them. So attending those conferences, obviously I acquainted the major players in NRF2 world. So today my excitement comes from this. I'm going to show you the paper. So this is the paper that was just published in the Journal of Nature Reviews Drug Discoveries. And Nature Reviews Drug Discoveries, it's probably one of the most reputable medical journals. So my excitement comes not only from the title of this paper. I am a medical doctor. Therapeutic targeting in chronic diseases, of course, caught my attention. That's number 1. But number 2, basically every author on this paper is the who and who in NRF2 world. Dr. Albina Dinkova-Kostova is godmother of NRF2. Dr. John Hayes works closely with discoverer of NRF2 gene, Dr. Masayuki Yamamoto. Antonio Quadrado, Ana Arroyo, they're the major world, Annalisa Levanen from Finland, Thomas Kensler from United States of America. They are the major researchers, the biggest names in NRF2 world. Now, I don't know about you. Of course, with LifeVantage, I live in a FOMO mode. I live in a mode of fear of missing out for what we have and to be in the moment of what we have. How would you like to have something that nobody else has and nobody else knows? But that something change has not only has a potential of changing the world, medical world, it has a potential, it is even now changing the world. So let me scroll the paper. Why my excitement and why are we sitting on precipice? Because look at this. That's where the science and medicine is going. This is a table of major pharmaceutical companies working or already FDA approving the drugs for multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, pulmonary hypertension. Alport syndrome is the genetic kidney disease, different other kidney conditions, diabetes, chronic kidney disease, metastatic breast cancer. These are the major players. Biogen, one of the very, very prominent pharmaceutical companies, Riata. So that is my excitement. My excitement is not with pharmaceutical companies. My excitement is NRF2 activation and what does it do for our health. And I told you I sell proactive because, guys, if we know this NRF2, so we cannot touch this NRF2 activation to our health. Most and foremost, preventing diseases, helping ourselves. Today, we're not talking about products and we're not talking about drugs. Today, we're talking about why NRF2 and yes, why NRF2 in different diseases. So let me get out of this part and let me go into the PowerPoint. The complexity of this talk is how do I actually simplify it and convey it to the masses? So that is my challenge. So now, look at this. Look at this. NRF2. NRF2 is a single hit for myriads of chronic inflammatory diseases. Now, why am I so excited to talk about NRF2 and health? Because when we're doing it the right way, when we're doing it with the right foods, when we're doing it with the right cellular upregulations, the cells are turning on that NRF2 protein in the right way. Look at the right way. The normal NRF2 is a very short-lived protein. It's between, our time frame is between 15 and 40 minutes. How do you activate your NRF2? Yes, you eat some good foods. Brussels sprouts, broccolis, curcumin, some NRF2 upregulators, maybe you've heard of them once or twice, of yellow color. And then you go to the gym and you work out, you're still going to do the NRF2 activation, and then that amazing protein complex starts working our cells in a matter of 15 to 40 minutes. And then it starts upregulating exactly what we need. It turns on our antioxidants. It turns on our detoxification apparatus. And it turns on the proteins that control chronic inflammation. It's essential for protection against plethora of diseases. That's why we need to take care of our NRF2. Now, Why are we talking about one, oops, that's not good. Why are we talking about one heat and many conditions? Because as you see here, look, NRF2 regulates the expression of over 250 genes. This is the scientific bona fide proved information. And these genes are our survivor genes. These are the good guys. So basically, for example, I gave this analogy yesterday. Your 250 genes is a script, and it's right there. Well, your NRF2 is your footnotes, or your NRF2 is actually a producer. So your NRF2 is a producer and director over 250 actors. And it regulates and tells these actors what to do. That is the importance of this 250 genes, one hit nuclear protein, protein complex. Now, this is a very sort of, scientific quote. Now, you need to understand that the slides that I'm showing you, these are all quotes from the paper. I don't want my words. I want bona fide words from the gurus, the mammoth of NRF2 science. Look, why NRF2 is so important. And let's say LifeVantage gives us pioneering concept, medically tremendous pioneering concepts of take care of your mitochondria, because your mitochondria is your cellular engine. But look at this. NRF2 maintains the integrity of your mitochondrial DNA. How important it is. Everyone basically in this world needs to turn on and upregulate and take care of the NRF2 protein. And everyone needs to take care of and upregulate the mitochondria. But look, this guy synergistically working with mitochondrial DNA. And the mitochondrial DNA is going to make signals and synthesize and create our mitochondria. And our mitochondria, again, it's our engine. It's our factory, it's our energy. So, well, it will be nice actually if I do the PowerPoint. Now, look at this. In this context of a chronic diseases, that's what they say. Why everybody is looking at a therapeutic or the pharmaceutical modality of NRF2. For them, it's money. For us, taking care of NRF2, it's health. But the thing is, conventional medicine doesn't take care of chronic inflammation because we don't get to the root cause of the disease. Well, NRF2 does. NRF2 does. Now, again, well, same thing. NRF2 elicit comprehensive, multi-targeted, and cytoprotective effect. What does that mean? It means cellular protection. Now let's get into this thing. NRF2 and our famous guy, glutathione. So now let's talk a little bit about diseases. For example, acute vascular accident, stroke, acute brain injury, myocardial infarction. What happened? So the cells are lacking of oxygen, they're lacking of nutritional supply because there is no blood flowing into those cells. That's the essence of acute vascular diseases. So what happened to the cell? If the cell doesn't get food, doesn't get oxygen, it doesn't get energy, it accumulates garbage and it's on the way to die or become dysfunctional. So what is the agent or what is a cellular component that is called to the rescue? It is called glutathione. This is one of the master antioxidants. So the thing is, when these acute vascular events happened, the glutathione cannot sustain it. There's initial burst, sort of a response to the trauma, to the injury of glutathione, and then glutathione pools are getting depleted. But guess who controls glutathione production? NRF2 protein. Extremely important. Where is glutathione the most important? Neuronal glutathione. You know why? In strokes, post-stroke, cerebrovascular accident, it is so critically important to boost NRF2 because we need to boost glutathione. Because boosting glutathione, we immediately start cleaning those damaged neurons. And immediately cleaning those damaged neurons, we're also going to upregulate their mitochondrial function, and that is going to recover them. Because the functionality of the brain needs to be recovered ASAP. So the faster we recover those cells, the faster we're going to regain the brain or neuronal function. Now, not only it is very important to upregulate glutathione in the brain cells and the neurons, but even more important to upregulate glutathione in the supporting structure, in the neighborhood of the brain cells of the neurons, the structure that is called microglia, like astrocytes. Sorry, I'm throwing some terms into you. And this supporting stromal apparatus, it's kind of a foundation that holds these neurons, and that foundation supports the food for the neurons, cleans the neurons and stuff. So that's why these are hardworking bees, for example, analogous on a queen bee of the brain cell. So those hardworking bees, they need their fuel. And they need glutathione even more. Now I'm going to go through the category of medical conditions where NRF2 is absolutely critical. Chronic inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction. Now let's stop on autoimmune diseases. And autoimmune diseases, here we can talk about, and I will mention it later, for example, multiple sclerosis, and you see a lupus, and you see another a collagen vascular disease, which is called Sjogren's syndrome. Some of us are very familiar with this syndrome. Rheumatoid arthritis, vitiligo, multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease, and we see NRF2, a mediator of basically immune system, immune cells. This is interferon, and people who have autoimmune diseases, they are very much familiar with interferon. Now, respiratory disease. When we talk about COPD, asthma, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, that's when we need to talk about NRF2 activation, and that paper mentions this. I don't want to complicate you. Now, from gastrointestinal disease, what was so critically important to me, and I never heard of it, consistent with some observations, patients with primary biliary cholangitis. It's basically the disease that is laden to have a transplant, liver transplant eventually, and cirrhosis, exhibit reduced NRF2 expression. So we need to boost it. Now, one of the culprits of this society is called metabolic syndrome. It's a combination of obesity, diabetes type 2, and high blood pressure and non-alcoholic liver disease, which is called NASH. Look at this. NRF2 may be protective against development of NASH. And I can't even say enough about NRF2 and a cardiovascular disease. Neurodegenerative disorders. We know that there is a lot of evidence and compelling evidence of protective role of NRF2 in Alzheimer's disease, in Parkinson's disease, and let me quote something because I know there is somebody on the call that is interested in Huntington disease. Pharmacologic activation of NRF2 holds a promise for treatment of Huntington disease. These are very unfortunate people. So, I mean, my excitement on NRF2, I mean, if I'm in for LifeVantage, this may be for one thing, NRF2 activation, but I'm definitely in LifeVantage for maybe more factors. And one of the most important factors are you, aka humans, amazing human beings, my friends, my team, my family. Now, before I get to hair care, let me go into another thing, and it's obviously cancer. I don't have the slides because I did not want to go into NRF2 and cancer, but I will a little bit. So, NRF2 now is linked to over 240 cancers. And NRF2 in cancers is divided into two categories. In a certain variety of cancers, NRF2 is decreased. The cells are exhausted. However, in the other varieties of cancers, those cancers are vicious, they're tricky. And what they did, they developed their own NRF2 activation, which is pathologic, which is mutational. So that upregulation of NRF2 has nothing to do with normality, with those short-lived that I showed you before between 15 and 40 minutes. However, this is my philosophy. I don't have my own scientific review yet, but my philosophy is, if we still upregulate the surrounding cells, and we still upregulate our immune system, and every single organ and tissue outside that cancer with normal NRF2 upregulation. And we will start, so we are optimizing our defenses. We are just revving up our own body and our own natural defensive potential. And then we will see what's going to happen with cancer, because we cannot upregulate something that is already abnormally revved up. So these are basically my few words on this review. Now, jumping on, my excitement, obviously maybe as yours, is now I'm going to go into a little bit of a product. My excitement into this. So obviously you know about this, right guys? You know about this. So this is our NRF2 True Science hair care regimen. But what was interesting to me is finally to go and study some of the ingredients. And I'm going to be talking about 3 of them. I'm going to be talking about arginine, which is in scalp serum. So, and that's what I've discovered today. Every day I learn something. So I've discovered about arginine that it has an enormous effect on hair growth because it improves the blood supply of the hair follicle and provides ways to put the nutrients into the hair root. Amazing, isn't it? Then I didn't know per se, I didn't know much about this guy, hair genial. So hair genial acts in 3 regulation mechanism of hair regrowth. Again, every time we hit on mitochondria, and I hope you understand that it is so critically important to upregulate our mitochondria, our cellular engines. And how do you do it? You turn on your NRF2 properly. You get your NRF2 activation, because your NRF2 activation, as we already saw in previous slide, is going to upregulate your old mitochondria. What else do? You turn on the mitochondrial, what is called biogenesis, or production of new, young, vibrant mitochondria. And you see, even in hair, how important mitochondria is, and hair genial is the one that supports mitochondrial dynamics. It works. Hair genial works on some hair genes, and it supports the biological activity, not only of the hair that exists, but the hair that is actually in the beginning, in our skin there, and stimulates growth of the hair follicle. And the third one is episcalp. Now, the interesting concept that I'm discovering, I teach microgut all the time. I teach microflora all the time. But guess what, guys? Apparently, we have our microbes or something, our not microgut, our microhair per se, our hair microbiome. And we need to keep that hair microbiome healthy. So episcalp, as one of the components of the hair regimen, has an anti-dandruff, antimicrobial properties. It restores moisturizing and hair conditioning. So, but the thing is, look, again, what I love, the origin, where it's coming from. Now, it controls the local microflora. How important is that? It's amazing to me. Again, this is the third part of LifeVantage philosophy. A, boost your NRF2. B, boost your mitochondria. C, boost your microflora. So now we're expanding it from microgut to microflora of the body. So, it's nice. It decreases sebum production, moisturizes scalp types. So guys, I think this was my last slide. So let me stop sharing the PowerPoint. And we are awesome. We're 30 minutes into the presentation, exactly the way I wanted. So now I can open it to the questions and see what I can cover. And if not, I'll say sayonara. So if you want questions, please type it. Oh, thanks, Lori. Question, guys? No questions? All clear?
I'm sorry, Sveta.
Yes?
I couldn't figure out how to type it.
That's okay, say it.
You talked about the Huntington's disease. Would you say that again, please?
Okay, so I'm going to quote it. This is Huntington's, the quote. Pharmacological activation of NRF2 also holds promise for the treatment of Huntington's disease. I wish I'd known about the option to ask. Well, now you do. Thank you very much. My husband had been using hair care for 3 weeks, and the serum makes his scalp itchy because his cells are starting to recover and regain. Awesome that it's itchy. That is a great sign. That is a great sign of recovery. Gracias. Hair is growing on whom, Kimmy? On your dogs?
Hello, Sveta.
Oh, and Kimmy's husband. Oh, that's Patrick. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome.
Good. Thanks for the presentation. There was an article I saw yesterday on NRF2 in small cell tumors, and they were talking about how they're doing CRISPR technology with mice now, and they're finding that if they knock out the NRF2, that the medicines can work better on the tumor. Can you speak to that?
Okay, so here's the deal. Now repeat about turmeric and stuff, because now we're mixing two things.
No, there was no turmeric.
Okay.
They're using CRISPR
I got
technology.
it. I got it. The CRISPR, okay. Yeah. So as I told you, there are some and very aggressive tumors that have mutated NRF2. And the cancer that Patrick was talking about, small cell carcinoma of the lung, it's a very aggressive, deadly cancer. And it has mutation. It's, you know, the tumors are very smart. They adapt, they adjust. So we need to go around it. We just need to go around it. For example, in the tumor, in that tumor, let's just knock out that NRF2. Let's decrease it and depress it. However, in vicinity, in normal cells, and in the microenvironment of this tumor, why don't we improve it? So meaning that we induce that NRF2. So that is the future. That's where we're sitting. So we have to find the way how to decrease it where it's abnormal, and how to increase it where it needs to be increased.
Got it.
For that matter, I think the foods and proper upregulation is to the rescue. For that matter, I think we probably will be looking not into pharmaceutical, but the nutraceuticals.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Kathy. Okay. Some people deal with low thyroid using NRF2. For others, this doesn't work. Exactly. For some it does, and for some it doesn't, but that's the way it is. For whom it doesn't, maybe we need to find some other ways. But you can never give up, because even if it doesn't upregulate your thyroid. So here's the deal, guys. The biochemistry of the cell, the biology and the biologic pathways of the cells are the same. Whether it's a thyroid cell, whether it's a brain cell, whether it's a toe cell, whether it's a liver cell, every cell has certain pathways. Every cell has an NRF2 pathway. So every cell needs to upregulate this pathway. It's as simple as that. But when we start upregulating the whole body, we'll look at it in a holistic way. Then I think organs are catching up. Jennifer Bishop, I hope you were not disappointed. She just did an amazing presentation with us. So guys, show me thumbs up if you want me to continue the series. And then I probably will, yeah, you know, I'm on sort of the same cycle. I usually do it Mondays at 8 p.m. It's the same link and stuff. So let's keep going. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I will stop recording.